wanted to know first thing, it was the first memory of like board games for you, any sort of games that you can remember.
First memory, eh?
Yeah, like what was your first like as a
Well,
kid?
for sure there has to be some as a kid, like playing,
Yeah.
fucking Monopoly. That's gotta be there.
Yeah, like for me, like I remember in my grandparents' basement, like cold old farmhouse basement with an old shitty Monopoly board. That was like one of my first, like
It's a core board game.
that was like the first board game available. Hey, like it was just in every household.
Yeah, it was just like the classic one that like everybody's got fucking Monopoly in their house.
Everybody does. I know. It's like Risk was the niche one at the
Yeah, because
time.
we had the super old Risk board where it wasn't like you had your infantry, cavalry, and artillery. It's like you've got cubes, stars, and diamonds. Like,
The first ever Risk
yeah, it
made.
was. Yeah, they were like, we can't afford to actually print out. We got shapes. That's all we got.
We got shapes and they have mechanics. That's good. Man, I don't even
Risk was
like.
a big one in high school, though.
Yeah.
Well, elementary school too. Like,
Did you play a
I
lot of
remember.
Risk when you were growing up?
Yeah, we'd get together and fucking just crush soda pops and play Risk until like 3 in the morning. Which, looking back now, is like insane.
That is
Like playing a
crazy.
Risk for like 5, 6 hours. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, but that was kind of always the culture of Risk. Hey, it was always like you got to sit down for.
Yeah, it's long games. You're just
Yeah,
backstabbing your friends. Things are getting surprisingly heated
yeah.
for a board game.
Yeah. It's crazy how like much energy you have to play a game. Like if I played Risk today, I would be like exhausted after an hour, I think. It'd just be
Yeah.
like there's not a lot of
I don't think you
variety.
could rope me into that scenario just period at this point.
No, not at
I'd be
all.
like, I have so many better options than what you're
Yeah.
suggesting we go to.
Yeah, like I'll spend hours playing something that has more variety, more interest to
Yeah.
me.
Like old roommate Brian be like, do you want to play 1v1 or Hisk? It's like, no.
That is
Like,
interesting.
oh my goodness, no.
How do you even set up a 1v1 Risk? Like,
I think there's like a lot of like territories or just like three neutral armies, but it's just bad. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, it's all the only redeeming part of Risk would be like the table talk and making little alliances. It's like okay, that's kind of a nice little social aspect. When it's just two people, it's like, well, what are we gonna do? Fucking team up?
Seriously. He's like, let's
Like,
team up to
no, we're
defeat
just
the
gonna roll,
evil.
literally flip a coin and see who wins. Like, oh,
Yeah.
you did it.
Yeah, the just the straight amount of randomness to just rolling dice at each other is kind of funny that was
Yeah.
considered like designer at the time.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, strategy.
Yeah, you got to maneuver your troops from Russia to
Yeah,
Canada.
yeah, it's big.
Did you ever play Catan at all?
Catan, I think, was that one really, like, around high school for us. That one was catching
That
on.
was the one that was getting
'Cause that's like
big.
the gateway game, right? Like,
Yeah.
everybody played Catan.
Yeah, like for getting outside of the realm of fucking Monopoly and the game of
Yeah.
life.
Like a
Like
nice, yeah, a nice little introduction to be
yeah.
like, oh, so like board games can be actual fucking
Yeah.
games.
Yeah, resource management, that's crazy.
I'm like, this is pretty neat. And
Yeah.
like,
But I never played it. Did you ever play it? I never played it
Catan,
once.
yeah, that one came up quite a bit.
Nice. Yeah.
I want to say Jay was the first one to get it, but
I could
yeah,
see
for a
that.
while we were going hard on that because it was like, fuck, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And then Magic the Gathering came after that.
Oh yeah. So how did you like get into Magic? Where'd you start? Did you buy it? Like, what did you buy for a deck? Who had
My
a
my
deck?
brother played it way back because I remember being a kid and he had all these decks and like being a kid and just being like, I have no idea what's there, but the
Yeah.
art's cool. Like, look at this guy.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, right.
He's like an 8'8". I don't know what that means, but he's awful big.
Yeah, but he's a big
Yeah.
guy.
But I didn't really play it back then at all. I think like maybe like me and Josh maybe like once or twice we were like, oh, this is kind of neat, and then forgot about it. But then in university, when we had all four of us living in that house,
Yeah.
We were into games and like
Yeah.
it came up kind of Magic, and I'm like, well, I wonder it. I think I went on Kijiji, and some dude was just selling like,
Like a big set of them.
yeah, like 1,000 plus, like his whole collection. He was basically just like,
Done with
except
Magic.
for
Yeah.
probably the rare. I'm sure he picked out all the rares
His
and like, I'll
yeah.
sell these for more money.
Yeah, which makes sense. The
But it was
fun
like
part.
relatively cheap. Like I think it was like 100 or 200 bucks or something. And then we just had this big pile of cards.
So
And
you
then we
got
just
it.
sat down and drafted them basically.
Really?
Yeah, we just made like a bunch of decks and just were like passing them around for like an hour, drinking beer, just being like, and I'll take this guy, and I'll take this guy.
Oh, that sounds like a blast, man. That sounds like a lot of fun.
It was a ton of, and then we just had. It was probably the most fun Magic ever was because everybody had these decks of like, pretty basic cards,
Yeah.
and everybody was just making like some janky shit work, and it was a lot of fun. Like by the end, it was getting ridiculous. It'd be like every week someone would be like, "Hey, I built this zombie deck," and it would just dominate.
Yeah.
And then you'd come next week and somebody would be like, "Hey, I built a basically anti-zombie deck." And it's like,
Counter
fuck.
zombie.
And it would just go. It was like just like a fucking arms race, right? And then eventually you're just like, man, we're broke university students. Like we can't afford all this cardboard
We
shit.
can't just be buying a bunch of new booster packs and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I think we were going like buying the cards online for the most
Oh
part,
yeah,
like just like
like
individual
specific
ones.
cards. Oh yeah,
Yeah, and like trying to stay away from the super expensive ones, but
yeah.
I
As
think
much as you
Nathan bought
can.
one that was like fucking $80, like one card one. So I was like, dude, get fucked.
Yeah, yeah. Like no, no, no. Yeah, that's
I was
not
like,
good.
I can't afford a rent,
Yeah,
but I also want to win.
yeah, but I guess I'll buy that $100 card. Yeah,
Yeah, because
that's
Magic isn't pay to win, but it's
it.
kind of
It
pay to win.
can be. Maybe earlier on it was when there wasn't probably so much in like people playing it, but there's probably always been a lot of people playing it. I'm a little ignorant to it,
Yeah, I
but
think that
like
one blew because it was like the first of its. Well, it probably wasn't the first of its kind, but definitely the one
definitely the
that took off.
largest.
I would say.
Yeah, right. Like it's I mean, I remember hearing about it like growing up a bit, but never knowing it at all what it entailed, And it like started in 1993, right? Like
Yeah.
that's crazy. But that sounds like a good time. I remember Jay telling me he just hated playing you in Magic all the time. He's got always just like got so angry. I just wanted to punch that guy every time we played. I was like, yeah. I was like, I
Dude, I'm
get
just a
that.
natural fucking
Yeah,
athlete.
just a natural talent.
Yeah, they always said that fucking line.
Yeah.
Like, ah, good one, asshole.
So what's your favorite Magic color again? I gotta ask again. I think I know, but
I think I was green black.
green black.
Yeah, green black were my favorite decks.
Yeah. What'd you like about it?
Well, with green, you just got a lot of creatures and big ones.
Yeah, there's
You know?
always like big
There's just something about just like
strength
being like, I'm gonna
creatures.
just beat you down with
Yeah.
either a bunch of shit, which is more red, but green can do it
Yeah,
too.
green. If you get your monsters out with green, it's just pretty hard to sustain.
Yeah. And then black just had that like hard removal and bringing stuff back from the dead usually was the fun
Yeah.
part. Like, oh, you got rid of that big guy? Well, here he comes
Yeah,
again.
he's back again. Yeah, that's a nice deck.
It's hard to pick like a favorite, but I will say fuck blue, like just all the
Yeah,
way.
I think blue is the funniest one because it's just the most annoying one.
It's just so oppressive.
He's just
Like Josh would always have some good blue decks. I'm like I don't get to play the game until you win. Is what I'm feeling.
he's just like, and I'm gonna play my. No, you're not.
You're just sitting there with like 6 untapped mana, and you're like, okay, I'll try and put that. Nope, no, you won't.
No, you won't. You will not.
You gotta wait until I win. That's what's gonna happen here.
Yeah, I can see Josh being pretty calculating with that too.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Oh, he's blue through and through. That's
Yeah.
just his personality.
So, what was the first we played together? Me and you, like
First
what
one we
we
played-
talked
oh,
about this a
Risk.
bit. Well, yeah, really, Risk. Yeah, when we
Yeah,
were-
but that almost doesn't count, really.
Yeah, that was like for me, like for board games growing up, like I never really played a lot of games like that. No card games really. It was always just like Uno which is just
Yeah.
it's fun.
It's
Don't
a
get me
game.
wrong,
Yeah.
but there's not a lot to it. Obviously,
No.
I remember like my parents in my old cabin had some like old, really old games. There's a game called Mastermind. I remember. I don't remember at all
That
how
one
it's
sounds
played.
somewhat familiar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like it was a game I remember trying to play at least as a young lad. But yeah,
Yeah.
then the Risk. I mean, I never played much Risk, and then we played the one time with the teacher, and that was a good time. We were just
Getting
high
beat
at school.
down. Playing Risk with the
Playing Risk
teachers.
with the teachers, but that was a good time. But yeah, so that was like I wasn't really quite into that, and then I think probably playing the what was that game called? We played with what was his
Red
name?
Dragon Inn or
The Red
something.
Dragon. Do you remember even how it was played? Were we just at a bar?
Not, not even a little bit. Like it was
It was normal
cards, right?
fantasy
You had
people.
like a character that had some sort of like ability,
Yeah, some
and then you just
ability.
had cards you were getting, and you were trying to maintain like your drunk and your money and a whole bunch of.
Yeah,
You had like health and drunk. It was probably like resource
yeah,
management
I think
somehow,
so.
maybe.
I was either an orc or
You were
a.
an orc. You
I
were an
think it was an
alcoholic
alcoholic
orc.
orc
The
because
alcoholic wasn't part of the character. I think you just decided
yeah, I
that
gave
that's
it a
what it
little
was
bit of
going to be.
flavor, which it really
Yeah.
is probably where I really got
With a
hooked on
gambling
fantasy
problem, if I
games.
recall.
He did have a
Remember, there
gambling
was the
problem.
one dude that was clearly like a very like analytical kind of guy. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, you actually want? And you're like, no, no, no. I want to spend my last gold and gamble. You don't get to tell me what I do.
Yeah, it's like you,
Do
you
I look like I care if it's not optimal?
yeah, yeah. That's kind of been my strategy for all the board games going
Yeah,
forward. Even
ever since.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just
Winning's neat, but theme is awesome.
theme is what gets me hooked, man, for sure. So, what do you like? Like, what hooked you about like getting like you've gotten really like we both really gotten into board games since those days.
Like it really just kind of blew up on us. Well,
Yeah,
like for sure it would have been that Game of Thrones card game, right? Because that's when we
yeah,
both kind of just started to get a little obsessed with the
yeah.
game.
That was definitely it because we
Which
got
wasn't even ours, right? It
no, it was
was.
Chris's. I don't even remember his
Yeah.
last. Chris Cattell. That was the last name from
Yeah.
Edmonton. And my bar
He had bought it
manager.
because me, you, him,
We
and
were really into Game of
was it
Thrones at the
Cody or
time.
something? Yeah, another
Or
bartender you
Corey.
worked with there.
Corey.
Corey, yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Because yeah, we were having like Game of Thrones watch parties, and they were like, "We got this card game, it'll be fun." And then they did the classic, like, "Yeah, let's play it tonight," and came over, and it was just like all that was taken out was the rule booklet, and like we couldn't figure it out. You guys figure
Yeah,
it
you
out.
like
Like
okay.
that seems up your guys' alley. We were like, okay, and
And
we did.
yeah, and the best thing I was like, okay, Logan, you figure it out, and then you show me how to. And it's
That's when I just be officially the the guy that learns the game.
you learn the game and you show me, and it's great. But like it worked good because it was similar to Magic, but just less kind of stuff going
Yeah,
on, and more
because
thematic
that part,
instead
like
of
right away, I was like, oh, it's like magic.
yeah. You kind of got understood the basic gameplay a
Yeah,
little
I mean
bit. Different
it's not,
tweaks,
but it
but
is, I guess.
yeah, like having like your plots every turn and stuff was a cool take
Yeah,
on it.
and you build your own decks, right? I mean, that's
Yeah.
probably the biggest thing. It was like, oh yeah, and you build your own deck, blah blah blah.
Yeah, and for the
I,
house you like, which was cool. It's like you like
yeah,
Lannisters in the game, build yourself a
and
Lannister
funnily
deck.
enough, like Magic to Game of Thrones, I mean, different, but there I am still just being like, I like the Starks because they got lots of wolves and I can kill stuff.
Yes, big strong wolves. It's just the same
Yeah.
mentality.
I'm just like just constant pressure. And
Yeah.
either I win or it doesn't work and I get just crushed in the lake.
That's like how it goes with those types of decks. It's like if I get the right things at the right time, I'm gonna overwhelm. But if I
Yeah, and you
don't,
won't be able to recover.
yeah, if I don't, my legs will be taken out from under me.
Yeah. Then I'll just concede after like 4 turns. Like, well, I lose.
Yeah. We had some really
There's
good
always
nights
the
playing
worst
that
for the
game.
other guy because it's like, can you just let my engine go off, dude?
Yeah, just like let me get set up and then we'll figure it out. It's like no.
It's like I'm aware you're gonna win.
Yeah.
Good defense. Let's shuffle and go again.
What was your favorite house was the Starks in that card game? Hey, like,
Yeah,
would
I
you
think
say?
I think most of my decks were like pure Stark,
Yeah.
maybe mixed in a little bit of Targaryen too,
Yeah, you had definitely
which is
some fire breathing
basically
stuff
like
going
just
on.
yeah, like green red.
Yeah, literally
Pretty much
green.
the same thing. I was like, I want to beat you down more.
Yeah. What's funny because at the time I had knew nothing about Magic, and I know a bit more now, and it's funny just to see the relationships between the houses and what they're like towards the colors of Magic.
Yeah, it's like it's still there. It's not
Yeah.
perfect translation, obviously, but it's
No,
like
it's the
they
little
all got their
things are
thing.
there. It's like white Baratheon. It's just
And like, if
honor.
you ask me how to play that game now, I don't think I could really tell you anymore
The
because
Game of
there
Thrones
was
one.
different ways to win,
Well,
right? It
there
was
was
like
getting the honor, which or like the renown. Actually,
yeah,
I
like
mean,
end of every turn or something, you would get
I think there's a way to
points.
get renown. I don't remember the gameplay
It was
entirely.
dominance or something,
You,
right?
you
Like
picked a plot every time you got that much gold to play your cards per
yeah,
round, and then yeah, dominance
at the end
at
or
the
something, it's
end.
like whoever had the most
Yeah,
dominance would get a point.
yeah, and you try and win by that, or you can win like 15 renown or something like that, or just kill
Yeah.
everything.
Actually, maybe there wasn't multiple ways to. It was just like the whatever the point system was, right? But like to get there, you could have
You went through
more
different
dominance by just
channels.
killing everything that was
Yeah,
there, right?
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember each character would usually, not each, but like most of them would usually give you a little bit of dominance or whatever it was
Yeah,
called.
yeah, exactly.
And we never did play it with four people. We learned how to play it to teach those guys, and then we just very quickly just weren't hanging out with them anyways.
We like didn't
We're
even
like,
play
thanks
it with
for
him
the
once.
gift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You like it's so funny because he gave us the core set and then you just bought two more core sets to make it the actual way to play the game of having like three in your deck. You remember that?
Oh yeah.
Because it
Did we
was
buy
like,
three? Or did we just buy? I thought we only needed one more core set. Did you
did we
actually
only
need three?
did we need two only? Maybe it was just two. Maybe they came with two copies and you could have like four. So you just bought
I think it
another
was like
core set.
if you were building your own decks, it's like you needed. Maybe you could just get away with one core set, but because there was two of us, right? We were like, well, fuck, we both need enough of these cards.
Yeah, right. For like we,
Yeah.
yeah.
Which and you still have that full
I
collection,
still
do you
have it
not?
all. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's in binders set up.
Oh yeah. Sometimes it's nice just to have that collection kicking
Yeah.
around.
Yeah. It's like if I ever want to bust it out, I definitely
Yeah.
can bust it out.
But we like so Game of Thrones, we really upset because we would party until like 5 in the fucking morning for like 12 hours, just be playing that game.
Literally, we'd be sitting at our island that we set up for the game. I remember well, and we would
Yeah,
just be crushing game after game,
yeah,
getting
we'd build like okay, let's go. We'll each build three decks, and we'll have like a big fucking battle
yeah,
royale with these
literally. It's like we'll
decks.
play these decks, these decks, these decks, these decks, these decks, these decks. Come on, best of three. That's when I really connected with Jay's hatred of playing you in games.
Could see what he was getting at almost immediately.
Yeah, it was like Logan, just the type of guy to just be optimal, and it's
Just make
annoying.
a bad play.
Yeah, just can you make one mistake, guy?
But not even that good. Just a meant like I came in with such a huge advantage over you, just having played games like that
Yeah,
before.
that's fair, but I liked the
You were like, "Oh, I
challenge of
like
it, right?
Tyrion. I'm gonna throw him in," and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, but if you work with your duck type."
Yeah, it's like, God damn it, you're learning from Blue now. Yeah, we had good times with that game, man. That's probably why I have it like in binders, like as such like a memento to my life,
Yeah, a
our
hundred
life. You
percent,
know, like
right?
I haven't played it in years, but it's like the
Yeah, because
memory
it's
of
not
it.
something you can really just bust
No,
out either. You
I
know,
tried teaching
like
Sally one time, and it's like I don't even know how. I was like, I just know how to play it, but she's not gonna really like it. You know, like it's
yeah,
not.
and it's like, is it really gonna be one that is gonna just bust out and be like, "Hey, let's play"? It's like, no,
No,
probably not.
yeah, right. No. So like, that goes into my next thought too. Like, if you're introducing, let's say, like to a partner, to your girlfriend, like what would you start with for like a type of game to introduce to a
First of all, she's
partner?
my wife.
I say partner. I'm not
Yeah, it
specifically
was a
talking about you.
hypothetical. I know it's not all about me.
Your
But yeah,
life's
like
not just
couple
optimal.
games, which is huge.
Yeah,
There's a lot well, it depends on the person too, right?
it's
Like I
very
kind
true.
of sussed it out with Jess. Been like, what kind of games is she? Because some would be hits and some, she'd play them, but you could just tell she'd be like, man, fuck this game.
Just not really into
But
the
like, what do they call it? Palominos? Is that the word?
Palominos.
Palomino. Yeah, like Tetris. Like Tetris is Polyomino.
Polyomino,
I gotta
is that
fucking
the type
Google
of
this.
game? Is it just like kind of
Polyomino. I think it's just a name for like the shapes in Tetris kind of thing. You know what I mean?
okay,
Like, or
yeah,
not just Tetris, but it's just all the shapes.
all the shapes.
It's hard to explain, I guess. It's just geometric figure. I don't know, but anyways, that's the
Yeah.
kind of shit like she was into, like games like Patchwork, like that
Oh
was a big
yeah,
hit. My City, like she fucking loved that
yeah.
one.
You were telling me about that one.
Blockus, like all those kinds of ones is
Right up
that's
her
her jam,
alley.
right? So when
Yeah.
I'm looking for games, I'm usually like, if there's some shape, and like I dig the shapes too. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. It's like I'll get behind some shapes,
Yeah,
and then you
but
also
like I
get to
think for
have
couples you want and every couple's gonna be different, but especially if it's somebody that's not really into board games, you need something that's easy to teach
yeah.
and fast too. Like you should be able to rattle off a game in like 30 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't want to start with a 2 hour dredge of a game. Hey,
Yeah. And definitely bet like games like Cascadia too, where it's like it is like it's competitive, but it's also kind of like multiplayer solitaire, like you're not really fucking with each other.
yeah. Me and Sally have been playing a lot of Cascadia lately. Actually,
Cascadia is fucking
it
it's
is
great.
amazing game. Like it just, I don't, it gets better and better the more you play it, which I enjoy. Like we're going through the achievements in the back right now, and it's like
Nice, yeah.
exciting, right? It's like we're like, hey, we got to get this, and we got to get this many points in foxes. It
We're
just
trying to
gives
do
you,
this.
yeah, it gives you just a good
Yeah.
visual. And like Sally likes building her habitats, it gives you
Yeah,
that option,
exactly,
right?
right?
And then she she does she I need to give her, and like we don't fight like against each other, right? We're not trying to beat each other often. We're often just like trying to help each other. She's just like, do you mind if I have the fish? And I'm just like, yeah, no worries, I'll go for the elk and this,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, reasonable. Like especially when you're trying to do the achievements, I get that, right? Because
yeah, with the because we both want
depending
to,
on the achievement, sometimes it can be like, well, we can just divvy up the animals.
yeah.
Some of them will be like, you need, whatever amount of points with every animal, and then it's like, well, fuck you, I need that fish.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes you're just like, it's just too perfect though.
Yeah, the achievements is a nice little touch in Cascadia. Jess isn't like super involved with them, She's like, okay, yeah, I get it. But usually it's me that I'm like, I'm trying to get. But that's the nice thing about it, right? I can be sitting there and be like, hey, I'm trying to get this achievement, and then Jess can just play the
She can
game
just
however the
play it
fuck
how
she
she
wants to. She's
wants.
like, I just want to build nice little habitats, and it's like
Yeah,
that's fine too.
yeah, like that is also okay. Many ways to play the game.
Yeah, and it's like a really good like. If it's been a long day or whatever, and we're like just
Yeah,
sitting down, we got some, like whatever The Office is on, something we've seen,
yeah. The
and
Office
you're
is a
just kind
good
of
one
like
because
you
we do the
playing around
same.
on your phone, you're surfing Reddit or whatever, and
Yeah,
just hanging out. It's a great game for that too, because like you don't have to pay attention. You know
no,
what I
you
mean?
really
Like
don't. It's like, oh, it's my
you can
turn.
sit there and be reading about whatever the Leafs have done in the last week, and then bag of tokens smashes you in the chest, and you're like, oh, okay.
Okay, sweet.
Literally
Yeah.
nothing you did affects my turn, so that's perfect.
Yeah, I'll take that bear, I guess. Yeah, you don't have
Yeah.
to pay attention at all to what they're doing,
Yeah,
right?
like you could, like I guess, hate draft, like be trying to take shit that they need.
Yeah, if you
But
really
I
wanted to
mean,
play competitive
why?
Cascadia.
Like why would you be taking it that serious?
No,
Right?
you never
Yeah,
would be. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, that's
it's
a
a
good.
weird game to be doing that in.
Yeah, yeah, I would definitely recommend Cascadia as a good starting couples game. Like that's just a
100%. And
well
it's like it's
made
not
game.
very like punishing. Like they have that other game Calico, which I think I might have played once, but
Yeah,
it's
I've never
it's
played.
it's similar, but it's also like it's very punishing. Like, like you can make a mistake where you're like, "Oh fuck, like now I'm screwed." Whereas in
Really?
Cascadia it kind of feels like you could just go with the flow, right? Like,
Yeah,
oh,
you
I
never
think I
make
screwed up how these elks are gonna happen, so
yeah
I'll just stop
adjust.
with
Yeah,
the elks.
yeah,
Yeah,
and move on to
because they're
doing
still gonna be
barrack
worth points
collection.
regardless. Like, oh, I only got two of them down, but that's still worth points.
That's
Like,
true.
everything's worth points in
Yeah,
the
that's
end, you know?
true. A lot of times you just grab like a fox because you're like, it's points, you
Yeah,
know.
foxes are definitely the ultimate. Like, yep, you're just gonna go somewhere.
You know what? I'm a champion of the foxes a little bit because I believe they're a
You
bit
you do. You
underrated.
push the. I always shit on the
I
foxes.
know, but I feel
I'm
like
always like, fox is garbage,
I
and you're
feel
like,
like they're
shut
crack
up.
fillers in a good game of Cascadia, which is important. You know what I
It's
mean?
true, yeah.
And
Yeah,
like,
if you got a little fox spot in the middle of a bunch of other shit going on,
yeah.
it's usually gonna be super worth
Well,
it,
a lot of
right?
times what will happen is if you have like three foxes down, the foxes often count towards foxes. Like every other animal's always like make a line or bears, this group of bears and then that group of bears don't interact. But with foxes, it's
Yeah.
like this fox, that fox counts for this fox, and this fox counts for that fox.
Yeah,
You
they're
know?
helping each other out.
Yeah, because they're just helping each other out.
They're just foxes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good one, I'd say.
Yeah. If I had to recommend like three, say it'd be
Yeah,
like you'd want Cascadia,
yeah.
you'd want Patchwork, and then I think you'd want like some sort of card game. Fox in the Forest is a really awesome like almost traditional because like it's trick taking, right? And they
Okay.
got both. They got Fox in the Forest Duet and then just the original. So one you're playing against each other and one you're on a team. But it's just a two-player card game, and it's super simple to understand. A lot
Really?
of great fun. I would almost say because that's one you can just take to the bar. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Or like
yeah.
to a cafe, whatever. Right? It's
Easy
just a
move.
deck of cards.
Yeah. Fox in the Forest. Man, I'm gonna take these recommendations myself. I've never played Patchwork or
Yeah,
Fox in the Forest, so
yeah. Patchwork's a ton of fun for sure.
okay.
We at this point we have it on like an iPad. Like we don't
Oh,
bust it out
nice.
as much anymore.
Yeah.
Just but like all the time or on the phone or the iPad if we're just like hanging out
Play a little
waiting for
Patchwork.
stuff. Like at the
Yeah.
hospital there, a lot of the times just be like, yeah, fucking quick game of Patchwork.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll
yeah,
definitely
it's
do
a
that. I
nice
also
design
want to
one.
throw Azul in there because I love Azul. I'm a
I
big
keep meaning to
fan.
get that one. That one is fun.
Yeah, it's like a really nice, easy teach, easy fun type game. You know.
Yeah, lightweight games, you know,
Yeah,
they important to have.
they're really, really, really important to have. You can't just all have legacy games, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, and that's what I was like. There's a lot of board games that are super fun, but like so involved, right?
Yeah, you need to like spend some serious
Yeah,
time.
like Maya City was a tricky one because that's a legacy game, but
Yeah.
it was that Polyanimo. I don't know how to say it. You know, I'm
Yeah.
not a doctor, but
Yeah. But so
that
that
was a bit of a tough sell. Like when it was first saying, I'm like, okay, so this one's probably gonna take us
yeah.
like couple months, you know, a couple different nights to finish. And she was like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, just
But then,
push through
but
it.
then
It's all
started playing,
good.
like, she loved it.
Nice.
Like,
Yeah. What's
we'd go, because it was like 3 games per, like, envelope, I think. And then I think it was like 12 or 15 total games. And then I think it went quicker than we thought. Because there's a couple nights she's like, do you want to just open the next envelope? I was
you're
like,
like
fucking right, I
you're like
do.
damn me down. That's
Like,
the
you know
spark
me,
I
I've
like
got a
to
problem.
see. You're just nurturing that fire in her heart. Eh?
You're like, yes,
Yes,
yes.
come to the light. Yeah, that's a good. Me and Sally definitely want to play My City sometime. Well, I do, and
Yeah, they
we
got
can
My
join.
Island coming out soon too, so there you go.
Ooh, we got a sequel coming
Which
out.
I'm imagining is pretty much the same
Pretty
thing.
similar, different theme.
Yeah, some sort of legacy, tile lane, you know how it goes.
Nice.
And anytime I can put a sticker on something to permanently change it, ooh,
Oh, yeah,
game
honestly,
changer.
that's definitely a big one. Like, I really like that too. Just like
Yeah,
warp.
legacy is a super cool idea.
It
Like,
is, man. Like, really, just like building up a little world, changing your decisions, change what's going on. It just
yeah,
really
game
makes
to
it fun.
game, like the same core game, but you know, things are just slowly changing,
Yeah,
adding a little complexity here and there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Another good game too, a good couples game is if you want to like get into like deck building style games.
The
would have
Hogwarts.
the Hogwarts one. It's for sure the best because it's just like very simple and straightforward. You know, it's like
Yeah.
your deck building's not so intense. It's all based. All the cards are in the core set, and it slowly
Yeah.
develops over 7 movies. If people like Harry Potter, it's just like
Yeah,
easy
because
to.
I got that one, and that was kind of the plan is we were gonna watch all these Harry Potter movies and
Yeah,
then play the whatever associated book or movie
yeah.
in the game as we went. That one didn't quite catch on for Jess or
No.
me, but that was just because I think it was like it did such a good job of like slowly introducing like, hey, this is a deck builder.
Yeah, like
But like I think we only played the first two, and I was like,
the first.
garbage,
Well,
not complicated enough.
see, that's the thing, and you gotta get past the first two because,
A
like,
100%, because
because
it's like
the
the tutorial, right? But
yeah,
it also wasn't like really hitting
that's
like
fair,
intelligence. It was kind of just
fair
like
enough.
like
Yeah,
it's
totally.
all right, but we didn't super dig just deck builders in general, I guess,
Yeah,
right?
and I just wasn't
Probably not her thing,
hitting
and
the
that's
spot.
fine.
Yeah, yeah. For Sally, I know she likes it. She gets overwhelmed with it, but she likes it when she like hits a combo and like has she likes the structure of like, hey, like
Yeah, that's what'll get you.
I get this many lightning bolts for doing that, and then I'm gonna I get this much gold, and she really likes the economy in that way.
Yeah,
It's-
building a little engine, right?
yeah, exactly. And then so it just takes a bit to get to that point. I
Yeah.
gotta fight through the fire a little bit to get through to it.
Give it a chance, give it a
Yeah.
chance.
And then we got to the game 6 and game 7, and like they were pretty hard. So it just was like we didn't finish it.
Yeah,
It
how
was
many
like,
times can you bang your head against the wall? And I mean,
yeah.
that's fine too,
Yeah,
you know?
right. I was like, we enjoyed what we enjoyed, and bring it up sometime
Yeah.
in the
At the end of
future.
the day, isn't that the most important thing? Like, did you have fun though?
Did you enjoy yourself?
Yeah.
No?
Remember
Okay,
Chase did it.
good.
We were playing that Binding of Isaac game at the
Yeah.
lake that one time, and it like again that game is I think it's a great game, but we just always push it like it's supposed to be to 4. We always push it to like 5 or 6, which is just
Yeah.
a bad idea
Yeah. See, this is
because that
my
game will just
this comes into
drag.
my another question I got too. It's like, what do
Ooh.
you think is the most like the best number of people to play a board game? There's obviously different answers for different types of
Yeah, because
games.
obviously it'll depend on the game, right? But
Yeah.
like in general, probably 4 is like the
Four's
magic number, I think.
ideal, right? Like for a good
Yeah,
game, where two can get a little dually, where you don't have a lot of
yeah.
options.
3 is always I find like I can't think of many or any games really where 3 players just
No.
works really good. Like I'm sure they're out there, but
Yeah.
usually it's just like one dude gets shit on, you know?
Yeah.
It's just like the nature of having 3 people. Like
Literally, yeah. You need the balance of four. It just makes senes. The only way, like games like Azul or Cascadia, you could have three because you're doing your
yeah,
own
you could
shit,
yeah,
right?
exactly. Ones where
Yeah.
you're not actually like directly competing with each other.
Yeah. So with Isaac, when did you buy? Was like a like how does that
How
how,
that would have been one of the earlier ones too, because like I feel like I've had that one for
for a
ages,
long
but I
time?
can't put my it might have been my first one on Kickstarter
Yeah, I
when
can
that
see
was
that.
just getting going, because I love the video game of it, right? Like
Oh,
it's a
it's a video game
roguelite,
first.
yeah, it's a roguelike video game, right? So you do all these it's like a little like twin stick shooter, like top down.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a roguelite, so you're getting random items every run, and like sometimes you get these just crazy overpowered combos, and it's super satisfying, right? Which the card game does a good job of doing too, right? Like it's all pretty random, but you can get super just broken combos real fast,
Yeah, that's
right?
true. Yeah.
And
So
again, we always just played it with too many people. I know I have played it at like 3 people and 4 people, and it's like actually pretty good and like snappy, right? And it
yeah,
doesn't drag on so much, but it's funny that even just that one extra person, like up to 5, because I think the last time we played it at the lake, we had
was
5, and it's like,
5.
it's just a little too goddamn slow, you
Yeah,
know?
you just don't. It doesn't get back to you quick enough, right?
Yeah, and there's too much. It's so hard to get stuff done because even just one extra person to be screwing with your plans is like,
Yeah,
this is bunk.
you need to take doubles of your ADHD medication before you play it just to
Yeah,
follow along.
exactly. But that was getting back to Chase there because we played it and it was dragging on a bit too long, and then we were like, it's like the rain stopped. Let's go play ping pong.
Yeah,
And we like contemplated leaving it out, and I was like, we can just pack it up. Like it's starting to drag. And Chase was like, because at the end of the day, like I had fun. I don't care if nobody won. And I'm like, that's a good point. Really, though. Isn't that what it's supposed to be about? Like, did you have fun?
I love that
Good
about
enough.
Chase too, actually, because we were playing at Frosthaven back, and Chase joined in the campaign,
Nice.
and I was just like doing a dungeon. It was a really hard one, and I missed like a really key part of like the enemy turns, and I made it like doubly hard for us by missing a
Right.
really key thing. Like it was like monsters were getting summoned every turn, and I just forgot that when they get summoned, they don't act. You know,
Right. They got that one turn of doing nothing.
yeah,
Yeah.
and but I would summon them, and they summon a lot, and then act. So like we just had no way of like controlling
Yeah.
the wave, but we like did a really good job of it though. But the mission ended up being a lot longer, and I was like,
Right.
guys,
Right.
like I think I fucked this up. And Chase was like, you know what? You're the dungeon master. You don't have to follow exactly what's going on. Like you can give us some breaks here or there, and it's not gonna kill the fun or the immersion.
Yeah.
I was like, good point, man. I'm like, all right, so these two demons are in the corner playing chess.
You're taking a break.
Yeah.
Because
But
ultimately, that's a big one too. Like the rule Nazi. If I can sally it for a second, I guess.
yeah, that's a yeah. She says it
Yeah.
too. So
Yeah, but that's a big one, right? Like, I'm guilty of that sometimes too. Be like, hey, it's got to be to the letter of the rule, blah blah blah, and like you miss something and you're like, fuck.
yeah,
But realistically, it's like, especially like Final Girl is like that's a solo one, and sometimes I've like gotten through most of a fucking game and I'm like, oh man, I was doing that wrong, and it's like shit, it's like this one doesn't count, and it's like counts for what?
yeah, yeah. It's like, what do you
Like
mean?
your enjoyment of it, just start doing it right now then. Like who cares?
yeah, right. It's like I
Fucking
just yeah.
enjoy yourself.
yeah, nope, nope, nope. Got to stick to the rules. I fucked it up.
Yep, gotta fucking throw this one away now.
So when you're buying board games, like you buy a lot, do you buy a lot on Kickstarter when you're buying?
Mm, not a ton.
Yeah,
Like I'm always watching it for sure,
yeah. But what
just to
hits
see
you?
like
Like what is the thing that you look for first when buying a game on Kickstarter?
that's well, like ones that have I hate the ones that have campaigns that really just do not go into the rules at all. Like the good ones I always find will be like, here's the rule book, and I'm
Yeah,
like, okay, like thank God, right?
yeah. That's big.
Or a lot of them will do like even like it's on Tabletop Simulator, and I'm like, oh, perfect.
That's nice.
But
Yeah, being
yeah,
on Tabletop Simulator is good just to give it a little
yeah, just a
test,
way to
right?
play it. Like the ones that are shitty, I find will just have a brief like you fighting zombies, blah blah, and then just showcase a bunch of art and all their like, and here's the stretch goals, and it's like, okay, like
It is the game
what is the
good?
game?
Yeah, yeah. Now you just want to
Tell
see
me
the
what the fucking
gameplay.
game is,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So you're just looking for like just rules, just gameplay of the whole thing.
Yeah, in general, yeah, it's like the rules good, and then there's a lot of like research because sometimes they're like reprints and stuff too. So
Yeah.
you can go out and find a bunch of reviews at least. And sometimes I was just opening up my Kickstarter list, see what I have, and it's Binding of Isaac,
Mm-hmm.
which is the first one. First one,
That was
huh?
the first one you bought. You have a list of what you
What
bought on
date is that?
Kickstarter?
Yeah, I'm trying to get like the list.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
that's.
yeah, it looks like it was Binding. Well, this is like the expansion, the big boy box, the one I
I
like
remember
just got
that.
not too long
I
ago.
oh okay, okay, yeah.
Yeah, the gold one I think was like, I don't know, but maybe it wasn't a Kickstarter one. Maybe it was oh no, it gets bigger. Tapeworm. No, yeah. Maybe it wasn't Kickstarter, but I know it was like a crowdfunding thing.
Yeah. Do
But
you?
then I got like Cascadia was a Kickstarter
Yeah.
one. Verdant also from the same guys that did
Gonna say
Cascadia,
from
which
Flat Out
haven't played a
Games,
lot,
right?
but I think
Yeah.
that'd be
Verdant
a big
is
one.
that the greenhouse one that we were playing?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think we tested it out one, and that's what I mean. Like we played it on Kickstarter, and I was like, okay, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that was a good
We'll
one.
throw it in the collection.
Absolutely. On tabletop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Space Lion, that was another one.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
Spaceline. I got the rules down in Spaceline.
yeah.
I remember downloading the rule book and just like studying it just to
Which
be
is like
involved.
that's where I know it's like that I'm into the hobby. Is like I can't count the number of times I've been like on break at work, and just reading a fucking rule
Yeah,
book,
like,
right?
did you ever picture yourself as a 30-year-old man reading a rule book?
Yeah, in his spare time to be
Yeah,
like, yeah, that'll be a
and
fun
actually
game, but
being super excited about it.
yeah, but it'll happen, you
It
know?
does, man. Even for me, man. Like, I'm even trying to get better at even teaching games. You know, like I like teaching, and teaching board games is just exciting to me. You know.
Oh, 100%. Like when you can get like a nice, concise, like little explanation and like everybody gets it, it's like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
that felt
That
good.
felt nice.
Because like some games they're tough, they're hard to teach, right?
They are. I know. They like you get lost in the sauce a little bit when you're teaching them, right? And you're just like,
Yeah, and it's hard to stay focused because you're like, oh yeah, and then this also comes into play
yeah,
later with it.
yeah,
It's like it's hard to have a good structure of teaching a game to somebody, right? Where
yeah.
it's just
You definitely
I usually find. Oh, go ahead.
it's a skill to learn for sure. I'd say the more you do it, the better you get at what people need to know at what times. You
Yeah,
know.
like I think the most important thing in teaching a game is always just opening with a little bit like, here's what we are. Like we're pirates. Here's what we're trying to do. Like here's how you win the game, basically. And then you start going into the steps of, like, and here's how you get to that point. Like you need victory points,
Yeah,
and to get these points.
you need to know where you're going, right? It's like
Yeah,
how you're gonna get there.
yeah. But you also want a little bit of backstory. I find too. You got to spice the game up a little bit.
Yeah,
Kind of just turn it into a numbers thing. It's like Burgo Bros, like, oh, okay, so we're all on a heist together. We're trying to rob this bank and blah 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 blah.
yeah. You want it's just some
It's supposed to
flavor
be
to it.
fun. Make
Yeah,
it a little fun.
have some theme. It's important. It's like making a story. That's why I'm hooked on it. It's like reading a book, but you get to interactively play it. You know?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like that. Yeah, man. So like, for me, when I buy a board game and I open up the box, I love unpacking boxes. I just love like the components. I
Oh,
like a
dude,
good
punching out the
box.
cardboard. Ooh.
Oh man, it's like just the excitement. Like I like whenever a game has a good box, I'm just like, yeah, this is good. You know, like
Yeah,
just
this is nice. Yeah.
yeah, punch out the cardboard
Nice
size.
components. Like War
Yeah,
Chest is one that I haven't played a lot, but man, do I love the
yeah, the
components in that
components
game.
are
I was like, nice,
nice.
heavy, chunky coins. I'm like, ooh,
Yeah, and they
this is
just
nice.
the board you got's nice. Like you got a good setup for a war chest. That's a fun one.
Oh, 100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
I that's been something I've been getting more into in this hobby too, is little like customization things. Like Cascadia, I got that whole insert for, like it's all built out of, little wood that you put together and glue and punch out yourself.
Ooh, you should send me
Which
a
is
picture of that. I wouldn't mind
yeah,
seeing
it's
that.
wholly unnecessary,
Yeah, fair.
but like I think you've seen it because I would have had it when we played it at the lake there.
I may have seen it. I probably just forget.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. But like super unnecessary because that game's not hard to organize in the box as is, but like for games that you play a lot,
Yeah.
like I think that's a nice touch to have these little personal touches to it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's great. And like that's just being a little bit of a collector and that collector mentality, right? You just want
Oh,
to
for
like
sure,
have
right?
your games that you like, and you just want to like add a little things to them. Like for Frosthaven, I went on just Etsy and I bought like little
Yeah.
monster stands, like just a little thing for like $15, just to make it a little easier when you see the monster cards. They're just like sitting up instead of say laying on the table now.
Yeah, which
That's
is
literally it.
big though, right?
Yeah.
Tiny little quality of life
Just
things like
everybody
that.
can see what they do and just can like it just makes the game a little bit easier to play.
Yeah. And that's still like it's funny because Gloomhaven, well, see that's a whole other
Yeah, I
fucking
was like, that's for
episode
next
of this thing.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
leave that alone.
Yeah. This one is just like I like the
A little bit of word vomit for sure,
oh
but
yeah,
that
no.
was it. Yeah, but like origins.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel
Yeah.
like we're at a
How
good
did we get here?
we're at a good mark right now. I answered all my questions, what I was interested in, you
Well
know.
done, having some sort of structure to it.
Yeah, right? It was good.
So crucial.
Yeah, it really is. And
I need them. Like if I don't have somebody being like, so here's you've been talking about cards and the flexibility of different card stock for the past 20 minutes.
yeah, we're gonna need to cut into
We're
something
gonna
else.
need to move on. We're gonna have to cut some of that out.
yeah. Well, that's good. Let's end it there. I think that's good. So, do you have any just a game you like right now? Just recommend any game. Just throw it out
Recommend
there.
any game.
Yeah, if you
But
could right now for beginner, intermediate, expert. Who cares?
who cares? Well,
Uh,
right now I'm just gonna go with Final Girl because that one's been a nice addition
yeah, hey,
for
for
sure.
well, I mean, the thing about board games, it's not always easy to find a group of people to play with all the time, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
Solo board game is something I've become a little more into over the last little while because it's nice, just have something you can just set up, play by yourself. Like it's still the all the great feelings of, you got all your components and your cards and shit. Like there's, it beats a video game a lot of the time, I find.
absolutely, I like that.
And
And
then Final Girl, like I went too crazy into it with getting literally everything in the minis, but like I think just to get the core box and like one of the feature films they call it would be like $40 or something.
$40, that's pretty doable. That's an
Yeah.
average kind of basic
Or
board
like
game
yeah, like
price.
each little, I guess you'd call them expansions. It feels weird to call them that because it's a different system. But anyways, they're like $20 for one of them, right? So it's pretty low barrier to like try it out.
Yeah, just to see if
But
you
I
like
I
it.
just knew, I was like, oh, like again, same thing. It was on Kickstarter. Did a lot of research because the first series had already been released. I was like, hell yeah, that's right up my alley. Fucking love horror movies. I'm like, yep, I'll put on a horror movie and I'll play that game, and yep, it's fun as hell.
Perfect. Oh, friggin'
Yeah,
Final Girl, guys, go get it.
yeah, go get it now. What about you? You gotta have something there too.
You know, I'm just simply just say Cascadia because it's been something we've been playing a lot lately.
It's such a good
And
game
it's
though.
just a well balanced game that you'd keep on your shelf forever, you know?
Yeah, and once you've played that once or twice, like you always know how to play. It's
Yeah.
one of the easiest teaches.
Yeah, you learn
It
it.
honestly
You learn
is.
it once, maybe the second time you need a bit of tweaking, and then it's just you're good to go every
Yeah,
time.
no problems.
Yeah, I'd say Cascadia. Final Girl from you. It sounds good. Well,
Right
it's
on.
good. Freaking good first episode talking board games with you, buddy.
Oh, more to come. More
Yeah,
5 a.m. wake ups.
yeah, absolutely, man. I like it. Gets me going in the morning.
You gotta go knock Sally up so we can call it like bored dads or something,
That's not a bad one. All right, well,
Like no, don't have a kid. Just
yeah.
have fun.
I feel like that's a good purpose in my life, you know. All right, I'm Dane. Who are you?
I'm Logan.
Good talking.